Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Sybil Stewart. I am not a coach, but I could be your advocate. Today, I wanted to touch on punitive performance evaluation processes. So we've seen all the headlines about the VP who took her life. What I don't think people realize is punitive performance processes are happening every day in corporate, and a lot of HR managers are either ill-equipped to handle those performance conversations, or managers are never trained to handle those performance conversations. Moreover, once an organization has decided to ban against you, because that is what happened, I'll say more on that later, but once an organization has decided to ban against you, you only have, your days are numbered. You only have a certain amount of time to arm yourself and to protect yourself. I talk about this because it's exactly what happened to me. Caveat being, of course, I was also HR, so this was a really interesting dynamic to have experienced it and to also have seen how it shows up in different places and spaces. To know that you are a high performer and to be called a low performer, to know that you are meeting and or exceeding expectations throughout your entire career, and then to be pulled in a one-off conversation where they know that you are unarmed and unprepared for what might happen next, to leave you in that vulnerable space and place, knowing that they are wielding the power of the performance evaluation, and to know that you don't have a comeback because this is the first time you're hearing about it. And there's no right answer. I wish there was a right answer for me to share and to spread with people, other than look for the warning signs, look for the red flags if you feel them. And we'll never know her full story. We don't know if there were red flags or signs that this was the thing that was being built up. But I will tell you all about the flags that I saw that led up to, I call it the day that I fell from grace. The day that I realized that I was so much greater anyway. But there were conversations happening around me. How did I know this? Because people started using each other's words. They were super small. You want to talk about microaggression? It's called microcommunication. And people changed their microcommunication around me. And I noticed that person A was using the words and language of person B, and they had never used those words before. I noticed person C and D showing up in meetings that they had never been invited to before. I noticed person E becoming more assertive towards me, and then having the permission of the other 4 people in the room, where they had never challenged my position or expertise or authority in those ways, in those places and spaces. I noticed in the lead up to those moments, they would start checking, checking my calendar. I always knew when somebody checked my calendar, because they would say, hey, are you free at XYZ time? And I said, well, actually, no. Well, I checked your calendar. Those are the things. We call them microaggressions. I call them prepare yourself, arm yourself. Some other things they started doing, we would have out of office days, and they'd say, oh, Sybil, are you working? I notice your out of office isn't up. And I said, well, it doesn't have to be. We're closed. Oh, well, it's just best practice. People start noticing things about you that are standard operating processes that are already in place for the whole, but for whatever reasons, those rules no longer apply to you. I even remember I tell people this is the day that everything stood still. And it's the day I stood up for myself. Because up until that point, no one had an issue with me, no one had a problem with me. And there was a moment where I said, something doesn't feel right. And I stood up for myself. And the decline was swift and quick. And had I not been in HR, I wouldn't have seen it coming, but for the fact that I still didn't see how fast it was going to happen. So I started putting things in place because I saw the writing on the wall, and I did not want my fate to be the fate of so many others who lose their lives because they've lost their voice in the workplace. And so this video, this particular one, it's a reminder of the advocacy work that I do, that I want for each and every woman to know you get to exit corporate with dignity, with your voice intact, without your spirit being bruised, with your mental health in alignment, that we do not have to suffer the chaos. We do not have to endure. But we have to make the choice to leave. We have to decide that we love ourselves enough to leave. Like I said, this is about choice. This is about choice and not waiting for the choice to be forced on you. This is about preparation to know that you are called for more, that you know you are supposed to be doing more, that there's a purpose to whatever pain it is you're feeling.